So let's talk about this. Defense attorney and former prosecutor Tanya Miller joined me here in Atlanta, along with criminal defense attorney Paige Pate. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Okay. First of all, I thought it was striking that the other jurors felt the need to put out this public statement. Is that unusual, Paige?
It's unusual, but then again, this case is unusual. Rarely do you have this much attention post-trial. It's not uncommon for a juror to want to talk about his or her experience. It's not uncommon for a lawyer to want to find out what they were thinking, but it's very uncommon for that to be broadcast to the world like it is here.
Well, and it's unclear exactly what they're upset about, Tanya, right?
Right.
But you sort of read into it. It's like some of this Juror B37 statements are riling them up for some reason.
Right, and we don't know, right? Because they haven't told us. But what I think they're responding to is sort of this public reaction to Juror B37, that she was insensitive towards Trayvon Martin and that she identified so deeply with George Zimmerman, the man who actually shot and killed the teenager. Normally, you would expect to see people identifying and feeling sympathy for the victim. And so that's a little odd, and I think that has struck people as being odd.
Well, something that juror said, she said she had no information what kind of boy Trayvon Martin was.
Look, it's hard enough for a jury like this, given the racial makeup of the jury, to relate to someone like Trayvon Martin. So it is the state's job to make them relate to Trayvon Martin. Talk about him as a kid. Talk about his family. Let them know who he was so they can put themselves in his shoes, as well as looking at it from George Zimmerman's
perspective. But they had
perspective.
some information, right? They knew he was 17 years old. They saw he was a skinny kid because they saw his body on the autopsy table, right?
Right.
They heard from his brother, who attends college. They heard from his mother. But still, at least this juror seemed to assume the worst about Trayvon Martin.
Right, and I think that's what is rubbing people the wrong way about this. You know, as a prosecutor, you really try to humanize your victim throughout the trial. I think they did what they could. There's limits to that. You know, you can't bring in a bunch of character witnesses to say how great the victim is, because then the other side gets to bring in witnesses to say how bad the victim may have been. So the state is limited to some extent in doing that. But I agree with you. There were millions of people who saw this trial and identified completely with Trayvon Martin and viewed him as a victim, and that's why they've taken to the streets in protest.
Wow, Paige Pate, Tanya Miller. I'm sure you'll be back because it just gets stranger and stranger. Thanks so much.
Thank you.